Welcome, Chosen One.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Plays channel. In today's video I'm doing some post-commentary from a couple of games that I just played. I played for about an hour 15 minutes, just trying to grind up. I did manage to get up to rank 8, completely without your help, okay? But all jokes aside, thank you so much to the people joining the chat in all my streams, helping me, guiding me, allowing me to actually rank up. It feels good to be back in single-digit ranks, so thank you so much. And just thank you for making it such an enjoyable experience. I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's the plan, at least going forward. 12 p.m. Norwegian time, so check your time zones. Stream for about 2.5 hours, give or take half an hour, depending on how things are going. But as you can see on the screen in front of you, we're playing some Ardal. This is my Ardal Assimilate deck. I took Shinmiri's Ardal Assimilate deck. I changed enough cards that I feel I can call it my own. Deck list will of course appear on screen as usual between games and during mulligans. Initial mulligans. I'm not gonna bother putting it up in the mid-round mulligans. But yeah, for our first game we're playing against Svalbard, and the reason I want to show this match is because first of all, it was a pretty funny match. Like, I had a great time, as I usually do with Assimilate. But actually, Svalbard is probably my favorite matchup when I'm playing Assimilate, simply because, that Skellige in general has a lot of good cards for you to assimilate, but Svalbard in particular, like they have engines, like Duchess's Informant can take so many good cards from their side. Bribery gets like Olaf and Wildkarl, and like they have enough synergy in their deck that as long as you have a little bit of assimilate cards, you can get their combos off. And I actually get one of their 3-card combos going in, I think, the 3rd round of this game, so I look forward to that. But yeah, so the game starts out pretty standardly. He's avoiding my pikeman, which is pretty good. He's starting to set up his longship and protector combo. I'm not too worried about it, especially with Duchess's Informant. Very important thing when you're playing this deck, and pretty much any deck that contains a decent amount of spying units, you can disrupt Skellige very often with some of these cards. Like Protector and Longship, I could just put a spy in between there, and that combo would be turned off. It's not that big of a threat, so I don't know if I actually decide to do that. Like I said, I played for about over an hour, and it's pretty hard to remember all of these games, but hopefully I'll remember something. But yeah, I'm just going to create one of those cards. What is it called? Primal Savagery. It's a pretty decent card. I had a target for it, so I might as well use it. But yeah, like I said, Svalbard, probably my favorite matchup when playing Assimilate, just because they have so many good cards to steal. It's so great. And Assimilate has quickly become my favorite archetype in probably any card game. And I've been pretty deep into Magic, the Pokemon trading card game, Elder Scrolls Legends, and now Gwent. And Assimilate, Nilfgaard, it's probably the most fun that I have had in any of these games. So great job to the Gwent developers for creating such a fun archetype. I hope it never gets broken and OP, and I also hope it never gets bad and terrible. Like, just if this could just stay a playable but not oppressive archetype, so it's just something I can always turn to when I want to have fun, that would be great. That would be fantastic. So yeah, our Nausicaa Sergeants are getting pretty big. Very good cards in this deck, as a lot of our cards do have deploy effects. Our spies have deploy effects, and a lot of the cards we can copy with Duchess's Informant will have deploy effects, so that's like kind of a 2 of. But he had a Geralt of Rivia, which is perfectly fine to get out of him now, especially because we're still doing pretty well on points. Our engines, in most games in my experience, our engines can actually get pretty big. And this deck has two main ways of establishing a huge engine presence really quickly. One of those is Portal, and the other one being Operator. We use Operator on Imperial Diviner or Ducal Guard. Since we're summoning and not playing, like the deploy effect of the Diviner doesn't really matter. But of course you want to keep the Ducal Guards in the deck for Portal. But yeah, Operator on a Diviner or a Guard, and then after we're done copying our opponent's Assimilate unit with any informants we might have, we seize it with Ardal. It's pretty good. It's a similar strategy that you play in spy decks where you Operator a Imperial Enforcer and then steal it. Of course, the problem with that card is that if you don't steal it right away, like if you want to copy it with informants, your opponent gets to use the 2 ping. In this case, the card that you're giving them, most of the time they can't do shit with it. And it's completely safe to leave it on the board for a few turns, so you can copy it a little bit and then steal it right back. Now, I actually bricked my Portal, so it's only going to pull 1 Ducal Guard. But it's not that big of an issue. Like if this had been like round 1, when we also wanted the thinning real bad, that would have been a little bit worse. But now it's a shame that we have to play 2 low tempo cards. But it's fine. So here our opponent is establishing a pretty solid engine. Of course, we're going to sabotage that a little bit. Use Roderick to get Operator. And in this case, it actually paid off to have one of the guards in hand, so we can use it with Operator, because I have no Imperial Diviners. So this actually worked out pretty well. And I'm going to hold off on the Seize just for a little bit. Because these cards do nothing for the opponent, it's a lot safer to just leave them out for a little bit, just to see if maybe something more demanding of attention comes around. But here I am going to steal it, because I am going to Hengaith the Roderick, put it right back, just to add an extra turn delay before that Svalbard Priest hits ya boy, Blue by Lugos. And here begins my own little Skellige engine. We're going to steal that Protector. That doesn't do much in and of itself, but hey, it's going to get fun. So he seizes one of our engines. I guess that's karma. I guess that's what you get. And I'm just going to play this Ducal Guard down, because we're about to do quite a bit of assimilating. I'm constantly surprised at how consistently I get a fair bit of assimilate triggering cards. This deck turned out to be a lot more consistent than I originally dared to hope for, but it was really good. And of course here we're going to get the Informant. We're going to steal the Svalbard Priest for ourselves. We're going to steal the Svalbard Priest for ourselves. I know that's what's going to happen. Don't tease me past me. Yeah, we're going to take that. I kind of messed up my placement there. I should have placed Artorias Vigo on the left side, to get an extra tick here off the Protector. But it ends up working in my favor. So our opponent plays down Velkarl and just goes for the immediate trigger on it. I'm hovering Bribery because I see that if I manage to create my own Velkarl right now, I have enough turns to trigger it, but we don't get it. Now I check my graveyard. I have a pretty good Hjalmar target. I definitely do. It would be a 10-point play. It would be great. But this is just too funny. So there you go. I'm playing Nilfgaard, but I have a Protector next to a Blue by Lugos that's being pinged by Svalbard Priest. This is the beauty of Assimilate. This is the good stuff. This is why you watch this channel, because occasionally I upload good content like this. I hope you consider this good content. So I believe I go for a little bit of a high roll experiment here. Imperial Diplomacy for a Gutting Slash. Now I gotta say, like no joke, I get Gutting Slash off of Imperial Diplomacy, I think too much. Like I see that card way too often. Like that was barely even a high roll for me because I always get that card. And we even had the Bloodthirst, so we'll kill that all off. And yeah. The thing about using Operator on one of our 4-strength engines, if we don't end up seizing it with Ardal, it's like a decent last resort for turning Shelmar, because you can deal 4 damage to it, and it's an 8 for 9. It's not very good, and of course in this case it would have been worth more points just to place it on the ranged row and get, you know, +2 boost for each Skellige unit on our board. We had a few. And we're just going to jump into the second game, which was also a match against Skellige. Crack and Crate this time, bit of more control-y deck. And yeah, we're going to see how that went for your boy. You'll have to excuse the cut in music. I was listening to Spotify while I was playing, just because I've gotten into a habit of doing that when I'm streaming. I listen to Witcher music on Spotify. And I didn't even think that it was being recorded. It saves me work in editing, because now I don't have to add music. But there was that little jump cut there that I usually don't have in my videos. But I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be alright. So yeah, like I said, Crack and Crate is our opponent this time around. Let's see what he's got. I really enjoy doing these post-commentary videos because I can talk a lot more. You know, it turns out that I actually have a lot to say. It's just that when I have to sit and focus on playing a game, it's a little bit hard to focus. But yeah, this opponent starts off with a Summoning Circle, which is definitely interesting. I'm just going to start pinging down that Roach. So, looking at our hand here, it's a little chunky. I don't know why, I look at this hand and it feels chunky, but we do have Portal, which is always good. And with one Nausicaa in hand, we're definitely going to get one Ducal Guard, which is going to work really well with all of the Assimilate triggers we have in our hand. So Herald Houndsnot is actually a pretty good counter to Alba Pikeman, because you put a lot of targets on the melee row that can soak up the pings and dish it right back even harder. Excuse me. I'm doing laundry. I'm washing our curtains. Orders from the missus. But yeah, so our opponent is actually doing a pretty solid job of just keeping us in check here. And this next play, I actually... It was rough to be on the receiving end of this, but it was actually kind of funny. And especially now looking back at it, it's pretty funny. Because he uses Summoning Circle to get a Demon Pirate Captain. That's fine. And I think he's going to kill the Ducal Guard because he pings it and sets it up. But no. That's what the other Pirate Captain is for. So yeah. Our opponent really has us on the back end here. Taking care of all of our engines. Like the only thing that went in our favor this time, this turn, was that he had to put 2 units on the melee row. So increasing our odds of actually getting pikeman value, but we're too far behind, so I'm taking the pass here.